What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access Entertainment. As always, please hit that subscribe button. It's right down there and it's free. That enables us to keep coming to y'all as often as possible. Now, today, this is a long time coming, man. It's an honor and a privilege. J.D., thanks for coming through, sir.
Man, what's up, Soren, man? I appreciate you for the invite. And man, it's many years we've been waiting to do this, man. We've been chopping it up here and there. Now we got the opportunity, man. And congratulations on all the success and longevity too, homie.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you. And speaking of longevity, I know just recently you did the Crush Groove concert and festival at the Forum. I know you've been talking about that online and how that was like a real big thing for you. So break down what was the significance of being able to do this show.
Well, to be honest with you, 420, it was something to celebrate anyway for me because I'm a real righteous pothead. I'm a stoner, you know what I mean? I'll take weed over liquor any day. But the significance was I paroled for 2021 after doing 28 years in the CDCR for a murder that everybody knew I didn't do. The police, the DA, the judge, they all knew I didn't do this murder. But because I wouldn't tell on the dudes that did it, they let them railroad me. You know, they swapped me out for one of my partners who was having trial in the same courtroom. He had a murder and attempted murder. He was from the other side of the neighborhood, but nothing to do with my case at all. They let him beat the murder and attempted murder because they had a celebrity in the courtroom. And that's how Torrance operates. And so because of the press, Source Magazine, rap pages, and all these, entities were in the fucking gallery recording this. Oh man, it made the DA a star. Made him a star. And so I got 28 years of fucking hardship and pain, and I get the parole on the 20th of fucking 420, the herb day, and then you fast forward 3 years, I'm off parole, and it's 420, and Ice Cube says, I need you at the Forum. Can you do sound check with D.O.C? I said, fuck yeah. He said, you know your verse? I said, man, I know your verse. Shit. And he was like, I'll bet you do, motherfucker. And so this is 32 years long overdue. My first time on the stage with Cube since 92, 93. Matter of fact, 93 at the country club in Reseda when we first, did our very first show. And this is like 30 something years in the making, bro. This was monumental for me. And there were so many people that I wish were there that I had lost over the years. That shit was just overwhelming, bro. And I was not nervous at all. That's the scary shit. I was ready to dive off the motherfucking stage. I was like, oh, this is back. And Cube said that. J.D.'s back. And that was the stamp for me, I did that show for free, bro. I would have did it for free anyway. I did that for free. I rented cars, hotel rooms, got the fuck on the 15, left Las Vegas. My boss gave me a couple of days off, and he knew what I was doing, It just so happened that Cube and my boss know each other. So, fuck kind of luck I got, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now that's major. Congratulations on that. And with one thing that I imagine is a big theme in your life is patience. So,
Yeah.
how, before we get to the thousand things we're going to talk about, how, when, and why did you develop or be able to understand that patience is so important in life?
As funny as it may sound, and I know a lot of brothers can relate. A lot of my Mexican brothers can relate. A lot of my black brothers can relate. A lot of my crazy white boy partners, they can relate. When that fucking county jail cell slams shut, there's nothing you can do. Your anxiety can go through the roof, then out the bars and over the tier and wherever the fuck anxiety goes. But at some point, you're going to calm yourself down. The claustrophobia is going to dissipate at some point, and you're going to adapt. Now, a lot of dudes fall apart. They find drugs, they find homosexuality, they find anything, any outlet, violence, you know what I mean? They find outlets to deal with this shit and cope with it. I told myself, fuck everybody and everything. I didn't kill this little brother. You're not going to make me say I killed somebody that I didn't kill. Now, I've done a bunch of shit that I ain't going to never talk about, but I ain't killed this little brother in my case. Somebody else did. And because you guys know that and want me to tell, you want to turn the lynch mob into a bunch of rats. You want to fuck up my career, my name, my character. And before music even took place, I had a set of values and codes that I lived by. So I wasn't going to bend that for music or to continue making music. And so, man, when those doors lock, you just have to humble yourself. I can't move until they say I can move. And then that becomes psychological warfare right there. I can't shit until they say it's cool. I can't eat until they say it's cool. And every time I move, I gotta have a hand in my pocket and a shoulder. That becomes psychological warfare. You know what I mean? And it's by design. You know, after you figure it out, then you start to say, "What the fuck do I need to do? Let the time do the time. What do J.D. need to do? Let me do me." So I just decided to educate myself. I went to
Yeah.
school. All that shit was free in there. I went to school, Pell Grants, every fucking thing. All that shit was waived. I went to school. You know, I graduated from high school on the streets in '85 in the top 5% of my class. So J.D. from the hood was never no dumbass nigga. You know what I'm saying? Loved hip hop out the gate. So I always could, formulate some, some words to create a bar or two. And I was known around the hood for turning out your party, you know what I'm saying, with a few hood lyrics, you know. So I lived in both worlds, but enforced the life of crime and that conduct and that code. You know what I mean? The rap shit was the rap shit. It was an outlet for the crime and the drug dealing and all that shit. So once Cube took us serious, I'm like, I don't have to sell shit else no more, but records.
And was it that easy for you? It
Fuck
didn't.
no. Fuck
Okay.
no. Hell no. I met a whole bunch of opposition. I was met with a bunch of resistance, homies talking shit. Is this shit really gonna work? My mom looking at me like, you better take your ass to school. Fuck this rap shit. She kept telling me it was a fad. And I told her, Mom, I don't know what a fad is yet, but goddamn it, this ain't that. You know what I'm saying? So when I found out what a fad was, I said, now, Mama, did you see it play out yet? And by that time, I had a fucking gold platinum and another platinum plaque on the wall. From Cube's projects on up to America's Most to Gorillas in the Mist.
Right.
You know, but it wasn't easy. I had some homies like, you know what? You didn't put in your work, bro. You done did a bunch of dirt, bro. You done did your shit. Go on and focus on your music. You've been rapping in backyard since you was a little dude, a young little homie. So, we see you like this shit. Don't take this shit serious, J.D., and see what you can get out of it. So I tried to, but I had too much love for the hood. You know, you create this synergy between these cats who all come from this dysfunction. You know what I'm saying? And the camaraderie there on the way to school and on the way back is that I don't feel like going home, bro. Let me crash at your pad. Man, I don't want to go home. Nigga, my pops on some bullshit. This other nigga ain't got no pops there at all. Some motherfucker mama there on drugs. He don't want to go there. So we created these things back in the day called shacks, vacant houses. We posted up in the shack. Let's post up to the shack till we ain't got nowhere to go. You know what I mean? And that shit created like the Lord of the Flies type shit, bro. Real.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that people forget about, that they always see the finished product as far as like a video or something.
Right.
And even though today a lot more of it is documented because of social media per se, they also forget the fact that this is real life, and people have real things that they're going through, financially, emotionally, family wise, racist wise,
Yeah.
society,
Hell
everything.
yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, issues on every front, you know what I mean? Issues on every front. And like you said, people love to see the finished product, but they don't see what the motherfucker went through to get there. They
Right.
didn't see how many times he got hit by a car, fell off a bike, you know what I'm saying, or shot at, you know what I'm saying, or fell off a roof. They didn't see him come up, latchkey kid, because we didn't have a term for that. Moms just wasn't fucking home yet. You know what I mean? We didn't have a term, you know what I mean? Motherfucking key was in your pocket, your bus pass, you get your brother. And we caught the bus from at 8 and 6 years old from the west side of LA to the east side of LA, from the Bloods to the Crips, from one fucking side of town to the other, my brother and I. My mother was adamant about us learning how to move around the city without having to hold our fucking hand, you know, because she knew what we were going to face in this motherfucking jungle called South Central, you know. And so she equipped us with this. I don't know. My brother is ruthless, and my mother said my heart too big, and so combined we make up moms and pops. Because my pops had the big ass heart, and my mother was ruthless. You know what I mean? She didn't give a fuck if it became between her money, her men, which are her boys and her husband. Y'all didn't stand a chance. So I kind of took that mentality to the streets. Like, this is what it is. This is how you survive in South Central.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting too, because and I've talked to other artists about this, but I think South Central really gets lost in the Compton, Watts, Long Beach, all these other neighborhoods
Right,
and
right.
sections, because it's LA, so it's not looked at as different, even though South Central is still like one of the
Yes.
most important.
is South Central is the core to every motherfucking thing that you just named. Because nothing, nothing came from any other surrounding city before it came out of South Central. You know what I mean? Nothing did. And I could take that back to Ice-T, you know. And so what happened with South Central is that people like to carve up shit until it's nothing left. Now we have districts. And so what was South Central in 83 and 84 is now called the Crenshaw District. You know, what was South Central in 83 and 84 is now called Westmont District. You know what I mean? Westmont District, that's from Western to Vermont. So we done right there? That ain't how it worked. The reason why they fucking redlined all those motherfuckers and broke them down to those sections is the way when they report crime, bro. They can lie and say that crime is down in the city. If you look at the statistics in the Westmont district and over here in the Fairfax district, you know, crime is down 47%. This motherfucker running for re-election is voting and campaigning on that one little thing right there, that one nugget. Crime ain't down, motherfucker. Combine all those little microcosms of cities that you broke up that's really South Central, and motherfucking murder is at an all-time high. Right. You know what I mean? But if you don't sit down and check the statistics and shit and see that they lied to you on a daily basis, you're like, man, they gonna break this shit up. They done broke it up to this district. Atwater Village is now, you know, well, come on, man.
Well, that's one of the great things about, you know, rap for me, especially. Thankfully, my parents were very open and willing and to talk to me about reality of life as opposed to perception of how things are presented, especially in the mainstream media. But one of the many things I loved about rap and, you know, chronologically getting it from the Ice-T's, the Ice Cubes, the Schoolie D's of the world, the Boogie Out Productions, was this other side of the world that is happening all day, every day. And,
right.
And being in right in between Baltimore and Washington, every time I go to either one, I'd see it. You know, it wasn't hard to find.
It wasn't hard to find, especially you grew up in the 80s and 90s?
Yeah. Well, so, yeah, the 80s, really.
So if you grew up in the 80s, then there ain't no schooling you on shit. You saw it. You know what I mean? There ain't no lacing you on shit in between Baltimore and in between D.C. You saw it. You saw it. The only thing that was fucking white in D.C. back then was the White House. You know, but it's gentrified now. You know, motherfuckers is jogging with babies and strollers again. And it's a trip hop.
That was not happening when I was growing up at all.
No, there wasn't.
0% chance.
Come on, man. Come on. You know, you had Marion Barry, shit was going on. And I could go back because I remember shit. And I just been fascinated with just history and, you know, politics and, you know, especially fucking fake ass black leaders. You know what I mean? I can't stand a fucking fake black leader. White America has never had a fucking tap dancer, a fucking jazz singer, a fucking sports player, or some fucking hula dancer. White America has never had those people represent them as a whole. You know, when you ask for black leadership, you go to Harry Belafonte. No diss to my brother, rest in peace. I love him to death. Great activist, and he loved his people to death. But you don't fucking take that actor, this singer, this performer, and make them our leaders. I have so many different things I love to talk about that I'm angry about and just fucking disappointed about. You know what I mean? We have allowed ourselves to get so completely away of, I know it's by design because I seen the music change and I saw what was being more promoted over what else, you know what I mean? And
well, look at, I mean, as I think about it too, one of the things that also shaped me is when I was growing up, not only did we have Marion Barry, but in Baltimore, we had Kurt Schmoke. So right there, we had two black mayors within 40 miles of each other in two of the biggest cities in the country.
Yes, in the United States.
And that was when I was growing up. So for me, it was nothing. And we had go-go. So we saw black musicians in our face that were younger.
Yes.
It wasn't the disco and the funk and the R&B and all that. It was
it was the congas. It was the fucking horn.
Yeah.
It was the brass. It was EU. It was, you know, Chuck Brown. And so those dudes were, what would you say, copied and pasted? You know what I'm saying? So the whole city became this little go-go movement. You still hear this some of Wale shit if you want to wiggle it in every now and then.
No, it's still a big influence on people.